There we go. So, last night there was 3 fixtures played, which we're going to go through all of now in this special birthday edition of the Blood Bowl Roundup. Considering, Lee, you asked for this ever so kindly, I'm doing this on my birthday for you. To be uploaded today as well, so, you know. We're going to go through the 3 fixtures from last night, and we're going to have a look at the games that are left before the league split. So, looking at, because it's on a separate bit of paper, we'll look at the Jim v Liam fixture, which, very interesting actually, because I went and checked with these two at halftime, and the match was 2-1 to Jim. But the match was very much in the balance. Come the end of the match, it was 3-2 to Liam. Meaning Liam scored twice in the second half. And there are some rostered star players. The first ones of the season. Liam has rostered Deeproot Strong Branch. And Jim has rostered Morgan Thorg and Hackflem Scuttlespike. Just to remind people, those star players can still be used while they're rostered by somebody else. It's just they won't have to pay the hefty fees. They'll be paying 50k from their treasury specifically before games to keep them. Obviously with Jim, 100k, 50 for each. LeBron got himself 3 completions, which the Ogre had a run of being top of the completion table, but Wood Elves are now just doing what Wood Elves do and most 2-up edge things. You'll see when we get to the table, it's just a blowout. Deeproot got himself 3 casualties in that game, and then there was a nice smattering across Jim's squad where no one player truly stood out, but it was a very solid game overall. Looking next at the other fixture, Jim v Liam was a very tight game that was in balance at all times. Sam v Tom was not. It was 3-0 on touchdowns and 3-1 on casualties. Our resident Miyagi, teacher, tutor, some dickhead who says words, Gavin, has been teaching Tom. And the last game Tom played before Gavin taught him, Tom lost 2-0. He lost 3-0 today, so I think Gavin's made Tom worse. And my. But I didn't see too much of the game that went on, but I did see, especially with 3 casualties coming from Cannon Fodder, Lump and Pump, an elf team just can't sustainably fight against that because they just don't have that many players, whereas the only 1 Kaz in return against Snotlings is painfully unlucky. And then looking at the final fixture from last night, that was between me and Stu. And it was interesting. The match ended only 1-0. There was a couple of chances for it to be 2-0, and it was 1-0 to me. It also ended 3-3 on casualties, so a pretty brutal side. Lucky for the lucky for the Ogres, sorry. All the casualties came on Snotlings, and only one of them was missed next game. The others were stunty Kazes, whereas the casualties going the other way were pretty significant. There was an edge bust on a now fired Journeyman. There was also a death on a blitzer that was apothecaried into a miss next game, and a badly hurt on, I believe, another linesman. It was tough. There was a couple of threats from the Dark Elves, but nothing truly significant, and it still remains. I have only conceded once this entire season so far. I actually thought it was twice. But I'm looking at the table. It's obviously once, and it was Liam. I thought Gavin scored against me, but I remember that was actually 0-0. But things are going interesting. And looking at the table, I've hidden some irrelevant stats so you guys can see the points and everything all in one, because just how this table's laid out, it's wide. As it stands, top of the table with 1 game left to play, which I'll get to in a minute, is me. 4 wins, 2 draws, no losses. 8 touchdowns, 4, so not very prolific. Only 1 against, though, and that's the difference. Whole host of bonuses and 17 casualties, which is the most from any one team by 1. Putting me on 45 points, with a potential 11 points up for grabs in the final game against Jim. So, obviously, I think I am mathematically now locked in for top 4, along with myself and Gavin. There is only 1 space left. So, in second place, all of his games played, 4 wins, 3 draws, 15 touchdowns, 4, 7 against, 7 casualties. The lowest in the league is Liam. So we've got the highest Cas and the lowest Cas in the league, but Liam has the most touchdowns scored. I have the least conceded. Really close, only 5 points between us. In third place is Gavin with a game to play. That's against Lee. 4 wins, 2 draws, the same record as me. The only reason he's 6 points behind is because he doesn't have the bonuses, especially in the Cas department, I believe it is. But he has a very, very similar scoring record of 7 for, 1 against. He's only conceded 1 as well, but has scored 1 less and dealt 5 less casualties than me, putting him on 39 points. And this is where the fight is. 4th through 7th all have a chance of being top 4, but currently in 4th place, with all games played, so requiring fixtures to go his way, is Stu. 3 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. So this is now the end of all the teams that are unbeaten. Stuart has got 9 for, 6 against, 10 casualties, rather middle of the pack on everything, putting himself on 31 points. Sam can't catch up. I've just realized Sammy's locked into bottom 4 as well as Tom. But one of the 2 coaches that can overtake Stuart and take 4th spot for top 4. First in 5th place is Lee. On 6 games played, he has a game in hand, which is against Gavin, who is in 3rd. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 5 for, 5 against, and 12 casualties. Second worst scoring, but one of the better defense records. 12 casualties, pretty solid. It's up in the top half on 28 points. Looking at Sam, who is guaranteed 7th, but can remain 6th if fixtures go his way. 2 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses, 6 for, 10 against, 16 casualties, second best in the league on 27 points. That maximum point pickup against Tom last night of 11 points has really helped, because he was on 16 points and has absolutely blistered up there. 1 position. In 7th, again, with 1 game left to play against me, is Jim with 2 wins, no draws, 4 losses. This team does not believe in sharing, as it is either all or nothing, and unfortunately, because of that mentality, most of his matches are nothings. But 9 for, 9 against, perfectly balanced, but high balance compared to Lee's 5-5. 14 casualties, which is the 3rd best in the league, on 26 points. So, Lee is 3 points behind Stuart. Would need to lose, and if he got 1 bonus, clean sheet wouldn't work because he would have to at least draw, which means he would overtake, so he'd have to If he got the touchdown bonus, he would be... Oh, God, that would be close. If Lee loses but gets either the touchdown or the casualty bonus, if it's the casualty bonus, Stuart stays in 4th. If it's the touchdown bonus, Lee overtakes because he's done 2 more casualties than Stuart before a ball's kicked. Because the way ties are broken is it's first touchdown difference, then it's casualties inflicted, then just alphabetical of the team. So as it stands, Stuart has a 3 better touchdown difference, but obviously if he had the bonus, it would be put on the same. That has 2 more casualties. Because he would be on 31 points if he lost and got one of the 2-point bonuses. Jim, however, has got a bit more of a climb. Jim is currently 5 points behind, so a loss does nothing. A draw would get him 3 league points, and then he would need a couple of bonuses, whereas a win would guarantee, obviously the same for Lee as well, a win would guarantee. And it is possible that, assuming Gavin picks up poor results and very, very strong results for Lee and Jim, Gavin could also drop out of the top 4, but Stuart is the most likely victim if there is going to be one, especially because he's not going to game played now. Put those bonuses back, because we also have, in last place, our dear, enthusiastic baby boy, Tom. 7 played. No wins. No draws. 7 losses. 0 touchdowns for. 20 touchdowns against. And only 8 casualties, which is the 2nd worst. What can I say? What can I say? Well, let's look at the scores. Let's look at some happy statties, yeah? I'm not going to show you them all, but I will scroll so you can see there are 35 individual touchdown scorers. And those with more than 1, sorry. Starting in 12th is Wilhelm Cheney of the Star Players Union, Silver of the Anti-Heroes with 2, Otto of the Somebodies with 2, Nuka Colin of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 2, Mysterion of OnlyFans and Inducements with 2, Mad Max of the Anti-Heroes with 2, Eric of the Somebodies with 2. Top 5 now, 3+ touchdowns is Wade Wilson of the Anti-Heroes with 3, Mr. Grubb of the Trumpton Carnies with 3, Ian of the Somebodies with 4, Diarrhea of the Fatberg Squad with 4, and with 7... currently in first place is Derek of the Somebodies with 7. Completions, as I said, it very much seems now that the Ogres have lost out on their completion attempts, despite it being very entertaining for many, many weeks, having an Ogre poised as the best passer of things in the league. It is no longer to be. There are 9 completion completers, starting with Spongy of OnlyFans and Inducements with 1. We have Semi of... Oh, actually, I just realised Morgenthorg is meant to be here as well. Because it wasn't put... it was put in the chat afterwards. It wasn't reported. So, Morgenthorg has 1. Spongy of OnlyFans Solutions with 1, Semi and Pork Sword of the Little Todgers with 1 each, Nuka-Cola of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 1, Eric of the Somebodies with 1, Silver and the Anti-Heroes with 2, Vermin Collar of the Fatberg Squad with 3, Nuka Grape of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 8, and LeBron of the Somebodies with 17. I think coupled with last season, I believe LeBron, without a shadow of a doubt, is all-time career completionist, like just overall seasons, because he's one of the only adept throwers that have played in multiple seasons at this point. I'll scroll just so you guys can see, but there are 54 Kaz dealers in the league. I am only going to read those. In the top 10, with 3 plus, because there are just too goddamn many. Because 2 plus starts at 26th with Wilhelm Chaney, and 11th is where we have those with 3 or more, which is Nuka-Cola of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 3. Mr. Sneed of the Trumpton Carnies with 3. We have Lump of the Only Fells and Inducements with 3. We have Eric of the Somebodies with 3. Deep Root Strong Branch of the Star Players Union with 3. We have some dickhead in 6th place that I'm legally no longer obliged to speak about. Gavin, that's on you. With 4, I guess. Nuka Victory of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 4. Gigantus Raticus of the Fatberg Squad with 4. We have Fatberg of the Fatberg Squad with 4. We have Pump of Only Foes and Inducements with 6. And tied for 6th, but in the lead on alphabetical order, is Nuka Cranberry of the Nuka-Cola Boys with 6 also. Ooh, that's fun. In it. So, thank you for bearing with me on this here fixture update. The fixtures left to play are as follows. It is me v Jim and Gavin v Lee. Once those are done, we will cut this league down the middle, and those in the top 4 and the bottom 4 will all play each other once more to discover the true victors in a playoff fight. Bloodbowl be with you, and everybody, good luck.